Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is time for some doctor's orders. This is the live stream every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel, where number one, you just get to hang out with a cool community, great people in the chat, hopefully entertaining people on screen. And then beyond that, you can learn about this beard product company, the owners behind the scenes, the products, what's to come, what's going on, how their mind works. All of that stuff, you guys. We are on episode 67 without ever missing. And I do encourage you guys to hit that thumbs up on your way in. And if you'd like to share this out to invite some friends, that would be amazing as well. And we have a couple of cool things today. But first, I do want to introduce my co-host. By the way, my name is Dan. Welcome, you guys. Thanks for being here. And my co-host is the man with the crazy schedule, the man with a plan to get everything done, from cybersecurity attacks to helping save your bank to making sure your beard is feeling soft and relaxed so you can jump around like a kid with excitement of this next level when it comes to products. This man that I'm talking about is the doctor himself, Mr. Nick Phelps, aka the Doctor of Time and Space. Nick, how are you doing on this busy Tuesday?
Busy. But I'm like really happy to take this break right now. This is like this is going to be like my meditation for the day to recenter around all the madness.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's just craziness. Schedules are busy. I was triple booked on something this morning. You know how that happens.
Of course.
But you know, doing good, man. Just another day in Wonderland, having fun. Glad to be here, especially reviewing some of this awesome feedback that you've had coming through.
Yeah, man.
That was revitalizing based on how the rest of my day has gone.
Yeah, I was just telling Nick, I had a bunch of you guys message me this morning about some cool stuff and people saying that they got their products, their beard has never felt so soft. And I was like, it was literally coming in as I was talking to Nick. And he's right. This day is a really nice kind of like centering or balancing and kind of bringing it all together. Essentially, Nick and I do a lot, and we will work on things and come up with ideas and doing this over here, doing that over there. And we just kind of do our own things to really help out Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff. And then Tuesday, it kind of comes together like, hey, how's that going? Okay, good. This one, got it. Yep, check. What about next? Okay, got it. Boom, boom, boom. And we just, it's like we tie all the loose ends. Like we put everything together on Tuesdays.
I think a normal team of people would absolutely be driven nuts by the way that we catch up on open tasks, because like I think based on the way I do other work, right? I do lots of consulting. I work with lots of big teams. There is big teams I work with who have 2-hour-long status meetings that don't cover nearly as much ground as Dan and I do in like 15 minutes, because what he just said is absolutely the way it goes. It's like, hey, did you check in on this yet? Yeah, I got this done. Okay, cool. So I don't know, check out with you later. Yep, check with you tomorrow. Okay, cool. Sounds good. What about this one? That one's done. That sounds good. Hey, let's change this. And then it's like, it's so fast that I could only imagine that if we weren't used to it, we would drive anyone else absolutely insane with our cadence.
Yeah, I would be curious for people to listen, because my worst fear in the world of coming from education is forced set time meetings. And I know a lot of you out there can understand, and you're going to say, hey, we need to catch up, which is true. Like me and Nick need to catch up. We need to get through things. All right, you are going to be planned from 3 to 4. You may leave after 4 o'clock. That's such a wrong way of doing things.
Yeah, like oh, what else do you want to cover?
Yeah.
I don't know. What'd you do this weekend? You know,
right. And we love talking to each other.
We cover that stuff. We do, but we don't kill time with it.
No. And we've had meetings with Nick and I 2-3 hours long, 4 hours where we're knocking stuff out because that's what it took. Right. And then we've had other meetings that are 10 minutes and we've talked about 15 things in those 10 minutes and that's all it took, you know? And so, yeah, I love and appreciate the Tuesday catch-ups and roundups, because none of this was ever planned, you guys. It's not like me and Nick got together and we're like, hey, what works best for you when we communicate? What works best for you? Let's come up with this plan. It's just like we just started and it just really worked out, kind of like the stream and you guys, where we knew what we wanted to accomplish with this stream, to be transparent, to get you guys information, to learn from you. We had no concept of how you guys, as the viewers, as the fans, as the consumers, would guide everything about this company and everything about this stream. That was like a huge, like, oh, there's something here, right?
That was a bonus. Yeah, that was like, that was crazy. I had no idea that was I did not know that this stream was going to become our product development department, for example.
Right. And it really did. And every
really
single time,
has.
you guys have been right. Like, you guys have been right. And that's been so cool.
Yeah.
So
That's why
dang
we
cool.
listen to you, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that. Leo's right. Meetings for meeting's sake are meetings for ego's sake.
That's right.
Woo!
And a birthday party without cake is just a meeting.
There you go. But that, Leo, dude, that is absolutely spot on. And Nick and I both take pride in not wasting time. Like, let's be efficient.
Good.
Let's get stuff done. Like, and both of us have wildly busy lives. And so being able to operate that way makes it all possible. You know, like,
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine.
Oh God. Like I work with certain groups who have those. Like I was just talking to someone. I went out to dinner with him last week. Actually, he's involved in Dr. Nick's, Josh. And I was sitting there talking to him. He's like, you would not believe what my schedule looks like. He had between one-on-one meetings and then rolling over a new CEO at his company. He now has 2-on-1 meetings. So every one-on-one he has with one of his employees, he has a duplicate one with the CEO that's on their way in through transition. So he totaled it up. He has 18 hours a week of meetings, 8 of which are duplicate meetings. So that's like call your work week 60 hours, right? I mean, that's a third of your time right there.
At least because you got to set up for each meeting. You got to like come down from each meeting, get all the tech and all that
Notes,
stuff.
follow-ups,
Right.
action items, all the stuff, it's like,
how do you even get stuff done?
Dude, that's what he was saying. He's like, I used to work 60 hours a week and now I do all that and I got to work 80 hours a week because I got to get my stuff done.
Because those don't make your time easier, better outside of the meetings.
They sure don't. They make everyone going, where the hell's this? Where the hell's that?
Right.
Can I get an update on this? And it's
right.
like, oh, sure. I guess I'll just work till 10 o'clock tonight. It's like, dear God, I could not do that.
No, Jason said in the chat, let's have a meeting about scheduling a meeting.
They do that. I'm not even kidding you. I'm literally not kidding you. There are planning meetings to lay out schedules for planning meetings.
Oh,
not even real meetings. It's like, let's have a project meeting to talk about when we're going to have more project status meetings.
Oh, man.
And can we record this? Sure. Like, it's just like the madness, man. It's crazy how the world has changed to like, I don't know how it makes sense why everything takes so long out there and why everything's so expensive, because like you look at the gross white underbelly of the corporate world and it is just cumbersome and bloated.
It's just outdated. It doesn't have a fresh perspective on stuff. And
crazy.
When you get with people that get it and value the right things in life, it just clicks. It just makes so much sense. So much sense.
It does.
And then we get to think about people in those meetings, but also the busy schedule. And then we get to start a meeting with Nick and I talking about people like Jacked Up Leatherworks, who says,
this guy.
Says,
let's talk about this guy for a minute.
Right. He says 889 subscribers. Let's get Dr. Nick to 1,000. Well, Mr. Jacked Up Leatherworks, Michigan buddy here, he said, how about I treat the chat to a giveaway today? I would like to purchase an oil and butter and give it away to somebody in the chat.
Come on.
Like,
are you serious? Like, Dan told me this. I'm like, okay, and okay. No, he's like, no, and that he just wants to give away. I was like, okay.
Unbelievable. So
dude, thank you so much for that, man. Like, literally made my day. I came in here and like I was hungry and I was a little, I was a little complainy with Dan, in the beginning. And then that popped up and my whole demeanor changed. Like, I'm like, dear God, man. Like, what? That's just so cool. Thank you so much, man. That's awesome.
He wanted to go out of his way not to buy it for himself, but support the company, support the stream, and give back to somebody in the community on his own dime. That is really cool. Really cool.
Awesome. And so Dan's gonna set it up. We're gonna do a quick live drawing here on the chat, however Dan wants to run it. And someone in here is gonna be winning an oil and a butter. I'd say oil of their choice.
Yeah.
And a butter. And it's going to be provided here courtesy of Jacked Up Leatherworks here in the chat.
Absolutely. I have put a Gleam link in the chat, you guys. We will draw that winner at the end of the stream, so we have your name and email so we can get a hold of you for your choice of oil and for your shipping address if Jill doesn't have that already. And by the way, shout out to Jill. You guys, anytime we do giveaways and stuff like this, it's amazing. It's so fun. Jill is the workhorse behind the scenes that is coordinating, making sure she has your pick of the giveaway, making sure she has the address, and then packaging and sending them out. Jill really holds that together. And as someone that deals with a lot of company owners, one thing that I greatly appreciate with Jill in these situations is she is prompt and she stays on them. Now, it's not, I totally understand this is not a knock on anybody, but common situation. Let's say I do a giveaway, I don't know, on like a Monday, right? Just hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
And we do a giveaway on a Monday. Oftentimes I'll get people that are super polite, super patient. They'll start reaching out to me on Saturday, Sunday, being like, hey, was I supposed to reach out to them? Essentially, that's their kind way of telling me, hey, man, this company hasn't contacted me yet. Like you told me they would, because people are nice. They don't want to be rude. And then I got to go to the company. I'm like, hey, and I don't want to be rude. So I'm like, hey, just a reminder. Here's
sure
the
something got crossed in email.
Yeah. Here's the giveaway list of winners. If any weren't able to reach out to for any reason, just let me know. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll get on that. I'll be on it right away. And it's just like, oh shoot, yeah, they totally forgot. Literally every time. And we've done some big giveaways. Jill is immediately on it. Sometimes like in real time. Like I'll have the winner's document and I'll see her going on there and like editing it. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So,
she's literally on there like during your commands corners, and she's sitting there creating orders. People usually get shipping notifications or order confirmations during the stream, like before it ends. She's a lot, she's like us in that regard. She does not like having open items on her to-do list. So
big time.
She knocks them out.
Yes. And that's the only way I can operate. That's the only way my brain functions. And I love that. Jill has like a clock that has like the time that she needs to leave to get to the post office. If she has to go to the post office to get these out, it's so cool.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
She's on top of it, man.
And I love
not mess with her.
In a super valuable, powerful thing, you guys, anytime you work with people is self-awareness. Yeah. I love this here about Jill. She said, I give myself a 15-minute window or else I would forget. And it's like, yeah, a lot of us are like that. And I love that you can like acknowledge that. And a lot of people don't, or like me and Nick will be talking and we'll be like, yeah, hey man. And you just say it, like you just tell what it is, like, that's going to be tough or that's going to be rough or and stuff. So we could probably do a whole entire stream. Actually, I know we could do way more than that. We could do a whole entire stream based on like teamwork and working together.
Oh, dear God.
Just sharing our perspective about not what's right, not what's wrong, but what we have developed and how it works for us. And I think it's pretty powerful. We always say if people could just like view into our methods and our conversations, I think their brains would be like, what is this?
Dude, it's so funny too, because you and I basically have created our own way of working together and getting stuff done. That's different than the way I think we probably work with anybody else.
100%.
And it's because we work so similarly together, or we actually work very differently, but the ways we work differently actually work really, really well together. And it's really interesting because half the time you and I will go through something, like Dan and I will be sitting there going through something and we're like, I thought this was going to be a lot harder than it was. Are we missing something?
Right.
And then we'll get through something and we'll bang it out and do it. And then it comes out really, really cool. And we love what we're doing. And we're like, I feel like we do this differently than other people do this. Like this should have been harder. Like, are we like, do we have a decoder ring that we have that no one else has or something? Because I think other people make this harder than it needs to be.
Dude, every time, like we'll anguish over like, all right, you ready to tackle this task?
You ready?
Right, let's do it.
I'm ready.
We do it and we're like, wait, this is better. Like this is good. And yeah, it's just so funny. So
it's always the things we're worried about too that do that.
I know. It's so funny. But shout out to Jacked Up Leatherworks. We will draw that giveaway at the end of the stream. So if you see a link in the chat, that is for a oil and a butter free giveaway. And then also our man Sebastian overseas here. He says, hey, Nick, Dan in chat. Sorry I'm late. I had to talk to my daughter. She is down with the flu. Man. Get that girl well. We are.
You get some chicken soup in that girl.
Yep. We're just getting over a whole kit and caboodle of family illnesses. And so I know that feeling, the way kids, like at least mine, when they get sick, The toughest thing is they become super duper needy, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
not like a
you
knock
can
on
say
them.
it. They just turn into a giant pain in the ass when they're sick.
They do. They really, whatever you have to attempt, you got to throw it out the window, because the like good person in you is like, I know I really need to go do this on the computer right now. And then you look over and Violet's miserable and says, Dad, will you sit with me? And it's like, how do you say no? Like, how
With
is that
Violet, I don't know. She's too cute for words. So it's
Yeah.
like, if a girl asked for something, I'd be in trouble. If I was
Uh-huh.
babysitting and you'd come home and there'd be new flat screen TVs, there'd be like a new Power Wheels outside or something, and she'd be like, "What the hell happened?" I'd be like, "I don't know. She said please," and I mean, she was real cute.
She looked at me.
Yeah, she can't drive that new car for another like 10 years or so, but I mean, like when she's ready, that's the one she wanted. So,
And this is a true story, Nick can back me up here. If I ever say to Violet, hey, Vi, I need to go, I have a work meeting. Because oftentimes with my work, she can just come and go as I'm working on stuff, but if I have a work meeting, I usually shut the door and I'm like, I got a work meeting. Her response now is literally, is it with Nick? And then if it is, I like kind of give her a window of time. She can come in
she can
towards
come
the end,
in,
and
say
she just
hi. She
comes in.
grabs an earpiece.
Yeah, she acts shy at first, and then she's like, I love Nick. And she gets that earpiece and her voice will just melt you. It
Oh
is,
God, every
yeah.
single time.
Yeah.
Like I turn into a puddle. She'd like I would just I'd be like, she's got me around her little finger, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, but I love it. I love it. So hope your kids get better. Hope everyone does well. We
Dude, yeah,
in our
that time of
family,
year.
we just started for everybody. We just started doing, and I know we probably should have started a long time ago, but we just started doing vitamin D supplements. We know, right, in the winter, you're not getting the sun. We know how valuable vitamin D was. We saw that during the COVID times, and you started looking at like numbers and the deficiencies of vitamin D. And so that's one thing we're trying. Sam got this like light therapy device to try during the day to get some of that going. So
I tried one of those at one point. That thing
Yeah.
actually helped for a little bit. I had one at an office that I worked at when I first moved up here. It died. I didn't replace it. I should, because it was like the seasonal on top of the vitamin D. It's like the seasonal affectation disorder that people get.
Straight
I
up.
get that really bad. Like as soon as it starts getting dark at 4, I'm like not the happiest person. I find myself having a really hard time getting tasks done at nighttime because I feel like it's way later than it is.
That's Sam.
Yeah, that's me too, man. And so I got to get another one of those damn lights. That'd be a good idea.
Yep. So she just got it. So we're trying some stuff for one to battle the seasonal depression and the woes of like, I think when people don't live in areas like we do, when it hits winter, everything's just gray for like 4 months. And that has an effect on you. Like that does something to you. The snow can be beautiful, and snowmobiling and skiing and snowboarding, all that's beautiful. But when you see gray to black 24/7, there's something that does that to you.
Oh yeah, it does it for sure. And I see a couple of people on here that are saying they do liquid vitamin D and all that. I do too. I do
you do
actually,
the oil.
I do the subcutaneous injections of vitamin D actually.
So Sam started those.
Yeah, my endocrinologist turned me on to it, showed me how to do it, and writes me up a little script for a bottle. But Jill and I both use them. They're fantastic.
So she goes to a place and gets the injections, and then now we are looking at, she really wants me to do it with her. I just literally, like, she wanted to this week. When I say this, guys, I really mean this. I literally do not have the time this week.
Yeah.
She wants to go do the IV with all the vitamins and all that stuff.
Oh, dude, those are, you know what? The only time I've ever done one of those was on like a total gag in Vegas.
Yeah.
But it made me feel fantastic. Those were great.
I bet.
It was like a bus. They picked you up from your hotel and they drove around the strip while they were giving you IV injections.
Yeah.
And they dropped you back off at your hotel.
Right. In Vegas, they use them for hangovers, right?
Yeah, it's like a hangover bus.
Yep. That's too funny. So yeah, we're trying all sorts of stuff. And Diablo says, I do fish oil infused with vitamin D. Nick, specifically, are there any supplements you take daily that you believe aid in your growth? I'm guessing beard growth.
I'll take that as beard growth as well. It's interesting. So I'm kind of a nootropics guy, and lately, I still do the same one I've done for a long time, which is just basically L-lysine and glutamine and choline. I think choline and those are just really good building blocks. And then I do ashwagandha, but those are all like mental effect things.
Sam is doing that now too.
Yeah, and ashwagandha, it's neat. It helps with it helps you. And so to answer your question, do I take anything specifically for beard growth? No, but what I have heard is that when your body is loaded up with cortisol, you don't grow fingernails or hair as fast. So that means when you're stressed, your fingernail growth and your hair growth can slow down because cortisol can block the growth of certain things in your body on top of a lot of other stuff, right? Hurts your metabolism, hurts all kinds of stuff. And so ashwagandha reduces your cortisol. And so I'm constantly doing anything I can do for two main reasons. I want to fight anything that could lead me to eventually have dementia like my dad. So I do lots of stuff for frontal lobe brain health.
Yeah.
And I keep my iron content and heavy metals and stuff like that low. And then the other thing that I'm always just trying to kind of fight against is inflammation. So anything that causes inflammation, I'm all about anything that can help. So
especially
it's kind of like brain health, that health.
Right. And you have some conditions like with your hands and stuff where inflammation is super important for you.
It is. Yeah. The littlest thing I do wrong and it causes inflammation, I won't be able to use my hands very well the next day. So I got a pretty good motivator to make sure I stay on top of it.
For sure. And I have never done an oxygen bar, but I have seen those as well.
Yeah. Those are cool. I've done one of those once, and actually I went to a really weird bar one time in it was right out. It was in Decatur, Georgia. And it was a bar that had oxygen masks that you could slide a credit card through and breathe in at the bar.
Nice.
So I did one there once. And I've never actually they say you have to do it with some regularity to really feel the difference, but I haven't done that.
Okay, interesting. And Miles, I think I've actually mentioned him on this podcast before, but he says, I watch a lot of podcasts and YouTube clips by Andrew Huberman, and he stresses the importance of morning sunlight, even on cloudy days. So Huberman, he's kind of like a loaded situation for me. I really like what Huberman does. I think Huberman is the Neil deGrasse Tyson of the other side of science, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson is the scientist for space. And I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is the perfect person for his position
for public consumption of information,
for people to get interested in something, to consume stuff. Do I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is the best expert in the world at anything he talks about? No, nowhere near. But I do think he's brilliant, and I do think he's really good for what he does. Huberman is very similar, but in a different way. He is an ambassador for people interested in body health, in body science, in body knowledge. But I do believe he has cast, and this is just my observation, just my opinion, he's clearly way smarter and more knowledgeable on these things than I am. But from an outside perspective, he has cast a really wide net. He talks about every single type of human science and topic you could ever imagine, including things like facial hair and sebum oil and stuff like that. And
gets a little over his skis sometimes.
100%. I would rather him narrow and go deeper rather than wide and shallow. And I only say that because he has covered a couple of topics that I know deeply and very thoroughly, and he was not very accurate. And when I say accurate, he wasn't lying, he wasn't wrong, but he wasn't telling the full story. He wasn't giving the real context that mattered. And a couple of things I just adamantly, it's not that I disagreed, I just know he's wrong on. And so when I got that, I was like, oh, and naturally it made me wonder about everything else that he talks about. And again, I just say that because I think he's amazing for getting this information out there and some basic stuff. But it can be tough when he talks about things that he doesn't exactly know. And it happened when it came to dealing with skin and hair, specifically facial hair.
Yeah, that's interesting. And as far as the cloudy day thing goes, though, in sunlight, I was reading something that was talking about how the receptors at the bottom of your eyes cause you to absorb light and wake you up, whereas the receptors in the tops of your eyes actually have the opposite effect. So they always say when you're looking at light in the morning, look up, and they say at night, they say a lot of the reason this came up is they were doing a study to figure out why people got sleepy in the afternoons. And they did this study where they were looking at it, and people would start doing this in the afternoon when they kind of slowed down at work, and they put their eyes down, looking at their phones, and looking down and letting light come into your eyes that way and looking at your phones naturally makes your body sleepy. And they say like going outside, looking up at the sky and doing things like that can help wake you up if you get the afternoon fogginess. And it was kind of an interesting thing. It led into like this whole science about different parts of your eyes kind of
Interesting.
transmitting light to your brain differently.
See, I have a tough time even diving into these topics because I'm like you and like many in the chat, I'm obsessive about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like once you start talking about the body, God, there's like you just said, it's like, okay, cortisol. Oh, okay. What about hydration? What about stress? What about the way you're looking and all this stuff? And then even this, right? We have guy says, I'm a breathwork coach, and certain types of breath work can reduce inflammation and boost your immune system. And I know that to be true. I also know that when you start doing certain breathing exercises, it can get you to a point of hallucinating. It can get you to a point of like all these things where it's altering your day and altering your state. And I'm like, that's wild. And then when you dive in and you start like really getting into like how the body's connected, where it's like this affects all of this, right?
Well, yeah. And longer life. I was even reading this thing about this guy on, I was watching a video, this guy on YouTube that says like the breathing exercises that like monks and yogis and these guys have used for all these thousands of years. The reason that they do it for enlightenment, it turns out that those breathing exercises can actually cause reoccurring natural releases of DMT into your system.
Yeah,
talking about the hallucination side.
Correct.
Of things, right?
And
so
man,
yeah,
what is the name of that?
crazy.
There's a certain it comes from yoga. It comes from yoga practices where they are able
longer
to
life knows.
Yeah, because it is DMT, which is produced naturally, and then you can get to that state and release it through these breathing exercises.
Yeah. What is
And
it? Not Kundalini.
Yeah, Kundalini. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you just start saying, I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, Kundalini. Yep, that's what it is. So yeah, that stuff is so wild to
isn't it?
About how everything's connected, and it like almost seems like there's a magic like code out there, but we just haven't put all the pieces together yet.
Well, that's the thing is we haven't reassembled them, right? We got so far away from them with Western medicine that I think we ignored them, and we got so far away. I mean, these things, we're rediscovering things that were like common practice 1,000 years ago. You know, that's the crazy part about it. And Corey, to your comment right above this one, a couple up from this about, his father has dementia, super tough, and he'd like to learn what he can do to try to prevent it if possible. That'd actually be another cool topic for a stream if I could pull it off. The doctor that opened my eyes to a lot of things that can prevent things that lead to dementia and Alzheimer's. This guy's got like 5 commas after his name on his title, on his email and on his cards. He's a really, really experienced endocrinologist, cancer research doctor, surgeon, microsurgeon, plastic surgeon, really knowledgeable guy. And he's super duper cool. I've even we've been to his house, and our Sir and Jill and I have all been up there, and he's a great guy. And I'm wondering if he'd join a stream with us. I wonder if he'd be a guest and talk about the things people can do for like mental health, longevity. You know what I mean? Because it's funny, Corey, like when I first went and saw this guy, I did not mention anything about my dad having Alzheimer's or anything. And he did his first like extensive blood panel on me. And he's sitting there looking at it, and he's like, oh, a couple of questions for you. He's like, your mom's side, looks like blood pressure, heart disease, these kind of things, all maternal. And we go through that. I'm like, yep. And then he's like, ooh, and on your dad's side, he's like, dementia, Alzheimer's is prevalent. And I was like, yeah, my dad and both of my uncles. So all 3 of them in that generation all died from Alzheimer's and dementia. Or both my dad's brothers. My dad's still around, but suffering from that pretty bad, nonverbal, everything else. And so he's like, oh, okay, yeah, don't worry, we can prevent that. That's easy. And he keeps going down the list, and he's like crystal balling my whole family medical history on both sides, just by looking at blood. And he came up with some really good strategies that make a ton of sense. And it's simple stuff like donating blood and watching your iron levels and keeping certain heavy metals out of your blood. It's been like all but proven that those things are the precursors in what dementia needs to take hold. And so there's lots of stuff people can do for prevention. It'd be cool to get him to come on and talk about it. Maybe. I wonder if I could pull that off.
Yeah. It's so hard to think about all these things when there's just such a like magnitude of things that are all over the map that you should be doing. It's like
Right.
you should be doing this, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. And it's like, how do you pick and choose? Because it's no person has the time or the schedule to be able to do all of those things. I
Not
can't.
unless you're like independently wealthy and that's all you
Right.
have to worry about.
Right. Because like I can't go get an injection of vitamins and then IV and then donate blood, but then also make sure I'm going and getting my son in the morning and then doing all this stuff, but then
Yeah.
also make a career to survive. Like it's just so much. Oh, and then do your breathing exercises, but then make it's just
And then take time for yourself, self-care.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, where, when?
I know. And then you got to eat. There's so much to it. I think making steps as you advance to continue to get better and better and better, I think is super important. And little things, and there's so much that's up in the air, right? Like they believe that the aluminum in not deodorants, in antiperspirants can lead to dementia. And then they're like, but it's not proven, because like when they started measuring stuff, and then they thought, oh, maybe it leads to breast cancer because you're putting it on your arms here, the waist,
lymph nodes.
but then, but it doesn't match the results in men. And if it was just this, you would think it's like a whole like web of stuff. And if anyone ever feels overwhelmed, hey, you're not alone, because I get to that spot 100%. And it's real easy to get all this information of what you should do, and then be like, it's too much. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just sticking to what I do.
Yeah, that's the tough one.
Is actually like engaging and getting it to go. And so, and G Squared, don't get us started on this. He said, I'll admit I've never done a hallucinogenic, but the concept of DMT intrigues me. Absolutely, man. Like it's the whole thing is so interesting. And Long of Life says the 3 pillars of breath work are relaxing, activation, and freedom. And the freedom are the parts that develop the DMT.
Very interesting.
It really is.
God, we need to go all Joe Rogan with this stream one day and just like bring up data about DMT or something. I don't know.
Well, this whole thing, when you talked about like having someone on to talk about like long mental health, he had someone on. He had a brain doctor on that talks about living longer and all this stuff. Yeah, it's so interesting.
Well, hey man, there's no reason why we can't bring up our bring our own connections in and cover some of those same topics. I love that.
Yeah, if it interests us, if it interests you guys, that's what matters. Yeah, 100%. And Mike, great question. I would love to tackle this one first here. You said, can you explain Dr. Nick's face wash and how it affects or not affects the beard while washing the face? So Mike, super simple, man. As long as your beard is saturated and fully wet. Now, keep in mind, our beard hairs are porous, so they have like all these openings in them. If you fill those openings with fresh water, let's say you're in the shower washing your face, have your beard saturated, wash your face only on the portions that do not have facial hair. So your forehead, under your eyes, your nose, that area. And then just simply let it rinse off. It will not affect your beard whatsoever. Essentially, whatever like suds and lather you have from that face wash will get to the hair. Realize there's nowhere for it to go. It's not going in at all. And it just brushes right on by. So absolutely no impact.
Nope.
Now, if you were like massaging it into your skin, then you're gonna have some concerns and some issues possibly. Not everybody.
It's a little higher pH than the beard wash.
100%.
So it's a little more stripping. So I even had people write back and they were like, "Hey, since you guys don't make a stripping beard wash yet, I've just been using the face wash on my beard once a week." And then they use a stripper on. I'm like, okay, So to each their own. But it's like bonus points on that one too. If you wash your beard, then it's all the way wet. And then if you put conditioner in your beard, the perfect amount of time to let your conditioner sit in your beard is about how long it takes you to get out your face wash, scrub your face, and rinse it off. And then while you're doing it, rinse it off your face. Once that's all done, then rinse the conditioner out of your beard. And then you got conditioner even protecting your beard even more. And you got 100%. Like a barrier, you know?
That's what I do, literally.
Bonus
in Long of Life.
points.
Absolutely, man. He said the best thing you can do is keep a positive outlook on life and everything filtered through that makes the body and mind healthier. No doubt, dude. No doubt. I do know that for a lot of people, that's not enough. Like for me, for sure, easy. Like, hey, let me focus on all this stuff, and it does work. For a lot of people that you get close to, and like you really realize it just doesn't work that way for everybody, unfortunately, right? And I used to believe that, like, and taking this even further, where it's like, hey, just think positive, just make the best out of it. Man, everything's become kind of loaded, and there's
Yeah,
some
because there
stuff.
could be chemical imbalance there that's stopping you
100%.
from focusing on positive, or you could be in a situation where people are like, well, there's always the bright side to everything. Sometimes there's not, right?
Right.
Sometimes like someone's just literally shoveling crap from one bucket to another on certain weeks, months, years. And there might not be anything positive to focus on. So it's like you got to almost like harvest it. You got to manufacture something that's positive to look at. And that can be a task sometimes.
Yeah. Did you see this? He's right down the road from you in Corporate Park.
Are you really? Oh, dude, that's awesome. We got to meet up because I'm actually really interested in what you do. That
Yeah.
sounds really cool. We got to meet up for lunch one day or something.
Yeah, those are the things that we talk about. Yeah, no
Oh,
doubt.
let's do it, man. I love that idea. And actually, to that point, my wife and I are always looking for good. We've been focusing a lot on wind down stuff and other things, and breathing exercises have been a big part of some of the stuff we've been, kind of looking at and talking about. So shoot us an email, man. I'd love to talk more about that.
For sure. So, Nick, I will bring up the current beard wash selections just so people can see what we're talking about here. But Devin wants to know, and currently available for the Sense and Beard Wash, you guys, are Yule Tree, Peppermint Rosemary, number 9, number 0, and number 7. So those are available, some out of stock, but those are
Those are the 4-ounces. Those are just the small ones. Yeah, pretty much everything's available in 8-ounce right now.
There you go. So other than those ones, do you guys have any plans to make a beard wash in other scents? Devin wants to know.
We do. And we're just kind of waiting to see which one's next. The peppermint rosemary was the newest addition. And I think once we get through, everything's getting its new labels on, and we get through this push here, that's when we're going to start kind of putting the feelers out there to see what scents everyone would kind of like to see next. There's some that are possible and some that aren't in the washes, which is interesting. Like the IPA probably wouldn't be super possible. The peppermint bark was not possible. A couple others, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on what they'd like to see next from our other scents, what they think would be a good addition to the wash and conditioner line, because we're always open to that idea.
Perfect. And he says, nice. I didn't know you had number 9. Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this up, was just in case anybody wasn't familiar with the wash options. So yeah, number 9 is there. It actually, the beard wash and the body wash actually made me like convert to enjoying number 9. Like I didn't love it in beard oil when I first was using it, but once I started using the body wash, and it was like, oh, I smell this in a different way, I started to like it, and then I started to crave it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Number 9 is one of those ones where I always have it there in rotation for both shower products and beard products. So there's certain days where that's just the one I want, no matter what else I'm using. Like right now, I'm using Yule Tree primarily in the shower, and peppermint rosemary. And not being a mint guy, I'm shocked that since I started using my bottle of peppermint rosemary beard oil, I have not switched. It's been the only thing I've used for like the past 3 weeks.
It's so good.
I really, really like it.
So good. So good.
Yeah, and Jill's got a good point there. Peppermint bark was totally possible for a shower product, but would have had to bump it from about $20 a bottle to around 85.
Yeah. So reach
and
out.
We were thinking maybe people wouldn't like that.
Yeah, no. If you guys want a one-off for 100, just reach out. They'll make it happen.
That's right. Yeah, just slap us a hundo on Venmo, and we'll get you out a wash and conditioner.
There you go. There you go. All right. And Jason wants to know, can you use the beard wash as a body wash in a pinch?
I mean, sure. It's a lower pH, so it's not going to be as cleansing or stripping as the body wash would be. But my rule of thumb is that you can always use something in place of a higher pH product with a lower pH. It's not going to have the same effect, but is it going to hurt anything? No.
It's not.
Now, if you said in a pinch, could I use my body wash in place of my beard wash? No, wouldn't recommend that. That'd be like an 8+ pH when you want to keep it around a 4 or 5 on your beard.
Perfect. All right. Real quick, guys, there is a link that is pinned in the chat. And if you guys do not have an Instagram, we totally understand. But if you do, there is a new post that went up right before the stream. And this is the Dr. Nick's 12 Days of Christmas. But as you see, if you're able to read the text, it's reimagined. And so for this giveaway, it's going to run for 1 week from right now before the stream started until the winner being announced next week on the stream. And next week, can't tell you guys the topic yet. You guys can check YouTube about an hour after the show, but can't tell you the topic yet. But there is something exciting about Dr. Nick's next week you guys don't want to miss. It's going to be really cool. And for this giveaway, you guys, it's on Instagram. All the rules are there. Pretty simple. But what Nick and Jill are going to give away is the entire Yule Tree line. So you're going to get the beard wash, the beard conditioner, the body wash, the beard oil, and you're going to get a peppermint bark oil, and you're going to get a Dr. Nick's beanie, and you're going to get a Dr. Nick's long sleeve shirt. Obviously, with the kind of winter holiday theme here with the scents and the warmer hat and the warmer shirt, it is 100% free, you guys. All you need to do is make sure you're following Dr. Nick's Instagram. Share this post to your story just once. You don't have to do it every day for 12 days, just once. And make sure you tag them and then drop a comment sharing your favorite dessert and tagging one friend. That's it, you guys. Very simple, very free. It is linked in the chat. If you see that little pin thing right there, it'll take you right to the post, you guys. And it's, all in the name of Christmas. And shout out to Jill. You guys are saying, wow, what a very generous giveaway. This was Jill really wanting to give back to you guys and do something for Christmas and do something for the holiday season. So make sure you guys show some love and appreciation to Jill for always pushing and making sure that we're giving back to the community and keeping you guys in mind.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a winner. Like it's gonna be a good one, man. And it's right in time. It'll get there before Christmas. You'll be able to enjoy everything throughout the Christmas break, which is fantastic. But man, love it.
So cool.
All Jill.
Ruben, I don't know. I don't do much with Instagram on the PC, so I'm not sure. And
no, you have to get like one of those little. You have to either do it in developer mode, where like you view the Instagram site as a mobile device, so you can like go in like Chrome. You can go to like developer settings, and you can choose what type of device you want to emulate to view a site, and you can trick it to make you think you're on a phone. But it doesn't. It's not 100%. So some stuff works, some stuff doesn't.
Okay. And our guy Jumpmaster, EDC, we actually met him down at Nationals, which was really cool.
Yeah, we did. What's up, man?
And he, by the way, guys, he posted a really cool reel of Dr. Nick's yesterday and peppermint bark and getting it in. He even applied it to his mustache. There will be a post coming from him on the Dr. Nick's page soon, but make sure you guys go check out his reel on Instagram. But he said, man, that's a bummer. Peppermint bark is so expensive in the wash. Best scent ever, but definitely understand the cost.
Dude, it is such a good scent. Like it is powerfully good stuff.
Yep.
Dude, and that stash is on point.
And he had a legendary beard too before he got rid of it to rock the mustache. And obviously he could bring it back at any point. But dude just had just a literal like national champ level beard.
Oh, and he was telling me about that. I met him over at the Death Grip booth when we were sitting there talking, and I was telling him that I wanted to play with some mustache stuff, and he was kind of filling me in, giving me the lowdown. He gave me a better lowdown on their entire product line than the woman that was there at the booth could possibly have given me.
For sure.
He knew it like inside and out, like, don't do this, do this. This stuff's too strong. You don't want to deal with this unless you're doing this, and that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, that stuff's intense. Like, definitely not a beginner sport there, and so we'd be, he gave me some really good advice, and I have my products picked out to be able to play with some of that.
And you genuinely wanted to learn too. It's not like he was just talking to somebody that.
Oh no, I was asking. I was definitely the one prompting all of that for sure. But no, once we got to talking, that guy's a wealth of information.
That's so cool. That's so cool. All right. So we will do this giveaway, guys, in about 10 minutes here from Jacked Up Leatherworks for an oil and a butter. Man, we've just been letting the chat roll and just talking, Nick, here. But as we're winding down time, we want to have the stream about what's coming. We talked a little bit about some of those things and what's going on with you guys, which we talked about some of those things. Nick, is there anything else with Dr. Nick's that's coming or going on that you want to let the people know about?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just in no particular order. So we got we got some cool stuff happening. We just got delivery yesterday for our new showroom downstairs that we kind of took you guys on a little mini tour of the other day. I was kind of mentioning we're getting in some cool chairs and some seating and stuff in there and a desk. And we just took delivery yesterday of some older, I wouldn't call them antiques, but they're like older style barber chairs from a barber shop that was upgrading. And so they're Really cool black leather, nice chrome hardware everywhere. And we're going to be using those kind of set up side by side with a table in between them. And that'll kind of be a little sitting area where people can hang out. It'll also be a great spot, obviously, for getting photos done and product shots and everything else. And it gives us the opportunity that, I don't know, if Chris Cole or someone from Nate from Sims or someone ever wanted to come down and do like little guest spot beard trims or something here one day for a stream where I sit in there and someone's getting trimmed up in the background and we can talk about it, that'll give us a place to be able to do it. And so cool stuff there.
That's so sick, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And you know what I did to pick them up is actually, this is, I'll throw a little plug out there for a service that I used. Oh, yeah, there you go. Look at those bad boys. They're looking good. We're going to get some more posts up about that.
Those are like legit.
They're really nice, actually. And I checked with Cole. I was like, hey, man, did I get a decent deal on these things? And I told him the price I paid for them. And he's like, dude. He's like, just so you know, like in perfect condition, those older ones that they don't make anymore, those things go for $2,000 to $3,000 when they're in perfect shape.
I'll say these are not cheap at all.
No,
and they're
they are not.
Heck,
they're heavy. They're hard to move, and they're very sought after. And so, and typically the only reason they go cheap is because people just they want to get rid of them quick and they need them out of their space. And so. Wow. I used heck yeah, Dennis, come on by, man. And so we got it was funny because I got both of them together for a fraction of the price that Chris said one of those should go for.
Wow.
And since we got such a good deal on them, I didn't want to, I have my K5 Blazer, which probably could have picked them up, but we needed to get it done like in a hurry and I was busy. So I was looking for ways to get it picked up. And I remember seeing a while back an ad for TaskRabbit, and I had never used it before. But it's like a marketplace where people can sign up. It's kind of like it's like it could be anything random. Like, hey, I just bought a bookshelf from IKEA, and I need you to come assemble it. And they're a partner with IKEA. So but people show up and they pick your stuff up from IKEA. They come to your house, they take it out of the box, and they build it and leave it there for you. And they got an hourly rate. But I was like, oh, and so I went and I put a thing up there like, I need 2 barber chairs picked up an hour away from my office. Here's where they are. Here's where I am. Send me a price. And it was like $85 an hour plus like an extra $100 out of the area travel cost. But hey, $180 on top of a really good deal. And I didn't have to take 2 hours out of my day and go rent a truck. I'd say that's a steal.
For sure.
The guy was great. He showed up there. He called me when he was there. He's like, yep, they look great. They're in one piece and there's 2 of them. He's like, go ahead and send over your Venmo. So I did. The guy checked his phone, said, good. He loaded them up, showed up an hour later and unloaded them, carried them inside for Jill and had them all set up. The guy he was a fireman just doing this on the side. He's a great guy.
Wow. I just literally copied the link and sent it an email to Sam as you were talking, just for like future reference. That seems super nice situationally.
Dude, it was like a great, and like literally I got it arranged and I had like a text message from the guy in like 10 minutes saying, okay, yep, tomorrow sounds good. I'll let you know my ETA and I'm on the way.
Look at this. Jacked Up Leatherworks said, send me the shop address and I'll send you a couple catch-all trays for customers who come get their beard trimmed.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing, man.
Awesome. I will, I'll put that in the chat. Send him your shop address.
Absolutely.
For custom leather catch-all trays. He actually has given one of those away on my channel.
You guys are freaking awesome. You are awesome, man. Thank you so much.
That's really cool. Okay, cool. What else you got going on?
Jason, TaskRabbit is not super popular in Michigan.
Okay.
You got some people picking up your IKEA stuff and selling them on Facebook Marketplace out there, do you?
Interesting.
Okay, so hey, take it with a grain of salt. My experience up here in the Northeast was great. What is it? When you look at investment advice, this is not investment advice, and past results are not indicative of future performance.
So true. So true. And if Jill is watching, which she is, Jill, if you want to answer JGJ in the chat, I'll highlight it. But he says, what's the ornament essential oil for Yule Tree? Is that a scent?
No, that is a sarcastic addition to the scent profile, saying that it just reminds you of everything holidays, presents and cheer and ornaments and lights, all those sorts of things. So we were being cheeky with that one. And and also there is exactly 6 essential oils in Yule Tree. And they're highly classified.
Moving on, we will not discuss the number of essential oils in Yule Tree.
Yeah, I slept on the couch last time we had this discussion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm already uncomfortable. My goodness.
Yeah, calm her down. Block her in the chat.
All right. So, chairs in the shop, check.
All right. So moving on. Chairs in the shop. That worked out really well. New labeling is going extremely well. I have put through the order for the one missing label that we had in there, which was the lemongrass ginger. So they are going into production hopefully this week. I'm just waiting for the final proofs back on those. Oh, there's another cool thing to talk about with labels. So our balm sticks, I don't know if any of you have ever noticed, and I didn't notice when we first had these. Those tubes are actually not a perfect cylinder. They're slightly tapered. They're like a little more narrow on the bottom than they are at the top.
Wow.
And it's such a very slight, annoying difference. Like it's very hard to quantify the difference there. And so you got to think what happens when you have something that's tapered and you take a perfectly square label and stick it on. If you line it up straight and you wrap it around, it will curve down one side of the bottle and it'll line up like this on the back. And so you can't have that, right? It's not a good look. So what I did when I made them is I tapered the sides. So that way, when you apply them on the center, you roll around to the side, they meet up and they look straight on the back because they kind of cup in a little bit. So I sent over these labels to an actual label company that we're working with now, not our old vendor. And he's like, hey, we're going to have to order a custom die for this. We're going to have to get it cut by the metal shop. There's a tooling fee because they do everything on this big wheel where it rolls through and it just cuts with a big square shape. That's the shape of whatever you're cutting. They're not laser cut like our old shop. And which is good and bad, right? It's more accurate, but it does require custom tooling. So he's like, hey, we want to make sure we get this exactly right. We're going to send you back a proof. Would you mind cutting it out on the cut line and just applying it to a bottle to make sure that you're happy with the way that it applies? And I did. And I used to be able to take a ruler and cut the top, cut the side, and then corner the sides with scissors. And when I did that, the top didn't line up with my ruler anymore. The center did, but the edges didn't. So it was like curved on the top and curved up on the bottom and tapered on the sides. And I was like, that's not the file I sent them.
Right.
But I cut it out and there was no more dip in the front where it dipped and then wrapped to the back. It was straight on the top all the way around and the back was straight. And I was like, whoa, they fixed my label. Didn't even tell me. And so I emailed them back and I was like, I didn't know your art department was going to actually like fix this thing for me. And they're like, well, if we were cutting a die for it, we wanted to make sure we do standard tapered bottle type taper based on the measurement and the differences of the bottom. It's a ratio. It's really easy.
Duh, Nick. Come on, dude. What are you doing with your time? Gosh.
You've been selling stuff like this? And like, it was one of those discussions. And I was like, wow, I just had no idea like leveling up my game with a label company was also gonna you dip, I dip, we dip.
I put my hand up on that chip when I dip, we dip, and I dip yours and I dip mine.
But yeah, no, it was awesome, man. They apply better, they look better, and like it's this experience with this new label company has just been fantastic.
That's super cool.
I don't know if that extra work had anything to do or not with the $50 box of gourmet donuts I dropped off over there last time I picked up my last order, but it might.
I think so.
Always remember, bribery and compliments will get you everywhere in life.
That's the little things. Yes.
Especially when you got a face like this. You need to bribe people sometimes.
Right. We did consider a radio show for this because of that face, but I think
we had to check, standards and practices to make sure that YouTube wasn't going to kick us off for being offensive. And they said I just barely made it.
They said there's worse out there. And we said, that's all we need to know.
Yeah, that's it. They said there's worse. We said, okay.
Yeah, they said, check out this guy named Dan, his channel.
Yeah, we let him on there. I think you're fine.
You want to see a big noggin, watch out.
Please turn the camera off. Thanks, Jason. Fade to black.
Thanks, Jason. All right. Any last ones before we do this giveaway update for the people?
Unless I'm forgetting something, Joel can remind me, or you can. My head's all over the place today, but no, I mean that's basically all the exciting stuff. New branding, new labeling, new photos, new photo process for getting everything updated. But all good stuff. We're finally on the other side of all the Black Friday madness, and things are kind of back to normal. I'm allowed to walk into the production space now when Shelly and Jill are in there packing orders. There's no sign that says Nick, stay out.
There you go. We're
so
progressing.
That's cool. Yeah, these are really looking up.
And Banana Go, yes, lemongrass does have the ginger, and Jill's giving an update saying it's all steeped and ready to go.
That it is.
Ooh.
If it wasn't for me being a bonehead, you guys would actually have it right now, but it's completely my fault. And I'm going to keep falling on that sword so that Jill sees my public display of humility for the mistake that I have made. And, I just like everyone to know this was my fault and not Jill's. Just once more.
When a puppy's all sad, I don't want to kick you though. I don't want to kick you while you're down. So I think we're good. I think everybody understands.
Yeah, it's good. I'll just, I'll mention it 3 or 4 more times. It's fine.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get ready to draw this super kind, literally random, literally just holiday spirit kindness. Mr. Jacked Up Leatherworks in the chat. He does leatherworking for a career. This is what he does, and he's not doing this for any kind of publicity or anything, but the dude makes some really amazing stuff and is a passionate guy. He's a small business owner, right? If anybody can respect that, I know it's Nick, and I know it's many of you in the chat. So just, man, I said this last night on stream. I'll say it again today. I really, call it cheesy, call it corny, whatever you want. I really believe in treat others the way you want to be treated. And this is a small business owner treating small businesses in a great way. And I know that's going to come back to him. And that's how I know Nick and Jill operate. That's why they do their giveaways. That's why they give their time for free on streams like this, is to give back to you guys. And so that is greatly appreciated and is just, again, so kind and just so thoughtful to reach out and say, hey, can I do a giveaway for you guys? Like, that's really cool.
Dude, it's awesome. And knowing that you do that for a living now, I wasn't sure if it was like a hobby of yours, if that's something you do. And I checked everything out now. I see you do a bunch of really cool stuff. I think we need to talk about maybe how we do a little collaboration between Dr. Nick's and Jacked Up Leatherworks with something that we can have on the site with you, man. I mean, that'd be awesome.
That'd be so
cool. With what we should do, some kind of small leather goods, like even just like a keychain or something with like a embossed black leather that's the shape of our logo or something cool. I don't know. Let's talk.
For sure. And if anybody wants to check him out on Instagram, I have linked his Instagram right here. He posts a lot of his work and he posts a lot of his stuff. Ooh, some leather keychains would be sick. I actually think I have keychains from him. So I know he can make that happen.
Dude, that'd be cool. Bonus points if you have like the little slot in the back where it can hold a air tag or something like that with a little snap or something. Oh man, I don't know.
Love that. My new wallet has a spot they have their own version of Exter. I don't know if you've heard of those wallets.
Yeah.
They have a spot for their own like little tag that goes into it, which is really cool.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
They need to come up with a thinner version of the AirTag so you can fit it a little easier into things like wallets and stuff.
Right.
I like it. Format needs to change a little.
Right. And Jacked Up, they have your email. They will definitely reach out to you. They're going to anyway for this giveaway. And so I think that'll be a great way to kind of start that conversation.
Hell yeah.
All right. One final chance to enter this giveaway, you guys. The link is in the chat right now. And we are going to see who will take this one home. Let me make sure I get this all ready here. All right. Is that one working? Oh my God. Did it just try to end on me? All right, one second, guys. Scheduled. Where'd it go? All right, am I entered? 1 second. If this doesn't work for whatever reason, we will have a backup plan. Where did it go? Okay. Does it work when you guys click it? Yeah, 10 hours left, 34 entries. Why has it disappeared on my end? Scheduled, quick draws. I don't know. All right. Let me check one more time over here. Somehow, yeah, it works. I don't know why it's not showing up for me.
Yeah, I was just checking here.
Oh, here it is. Got it. All right. I was looking for Jacked Up Leatherworks, but it's Dr. Nick's in the name. Awesome. That makes way more sense. All right. Yes, it's working. Perfect. I was like, it's never failed before. Nope. That's just user reading error. All right. If you see your name on the screen, drop a comment in the chat to claim your victory. Just say something like, that's me, something along those lines, and you've got it. Again, this is an oil and butter provided by Jacked Up Leatherworks, and these are Dr. Nick's products here. Let's see what we have. Dun, dun, dun. Do we have a Mr. Matthew D? Are you out there, Matthew? Drop a comment, and this win is all yours. Matthew D, Dr. Nick's oil and butter giveaway. Jill will reach out to you just to get your government name and your shipping address, plus the scent of choice that you would like. And then Jacked Up, Nick and Jill will be kind of reaching out to you. Okay, so this Matthew D, I did notice, I almost even said the email didn't quite match up with the name. And the email, that checks out. So this is Scotty D right here, guys.
Hey,
he does win this.
Congrats.
Awesome, man. Congrats.
That is awesome. Thanks to Jacked Up Leatherworks.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, Jill, I am putting in the team's chat the winner's name and email. Boom. Should be all set there. Got that. Beautiful, beautiful.
And one more call out while we're here, just 1 minute over, just at the end. One thing I forgot to mention, I don't know if Arden Marl is in the chat. Arden M. I'm not sure if you're saying your last name right there, Arden. So I'm not sure if he's in the chat. If you are, say hi. Arden sent us an awesome freaking Christmas card and a letter. And I just wanted to say thanks in case he's watching now or if he's watching later. Keep your eyes open for a response for sure, man, because, I really appreciate it. I have it up, in my office at home with some other Christmas cards, and, it means a lot. So I really appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words. So much appreciated.
So cool. And just a reminder, guys, there is that free Instagram giveaway going on, the 12 days of Christmas. It's going to be a real big box. And the reason why it's going to end next Tuesday is so it can get shipped out to you guys by Christmas. So you can have an actual Christmas box there. If you guys want to share that with your friends and stuff, if you can help grow this platform, this community, this company, it is all greatly appreciated. And the coolest thing is it doesn't cost you anything to share. It doesn't cost you anything to help grow a small business. So that genuinely is appreciated. One more time, you guys. So next week, 1 p.m. Eastern, we will announce the winner of that giveaway live on stream. And Nick is going to have a story that we're going to talk pretty much the whole time about that I don't think you guys are going to want to miss. I'm very excited. I know Nick is very excited. And I think it's going to be pretty cool for you guys to hear about and kind of hear the story and the behind the scenes and how everything works. It's going to be fresh on Nick's mind, and it's going to be really cool.
It'll be very, very cool. And I know that Dan B is going to especially find this one very, very interesting. He's going to get a kick out of this. And I think everyone else is too, man. It's definitely one not to miss. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, enter the giveaway. Get yourself some free Christmas stuff. We're going to have the other gift package from Jacked Up Leatherworks going out probably tomorrow and our Wednesday shipping run. But yeah, keep an eye on that. Share it out. It's much appreciated. You are our marketing department. So go do your job. It's going to be fantastic. And a thank you is going to be in order for sure. So very much appreciated. And excited for next week, man. Keep rocking and rolling. Have an amazing week.
We will see you 1 p.m. Eastern.